What if everything you were told about doing well after 70 is wrong? What if the real signs that you are winning at life have nothing to do with money, titles, or even perfect health? And what if millions of people pass this age without realizing they already crossed the line where life quietly splits into two very different paths? Here's the mystery. Two people turned 70 in the same year. Same country, same generation. One slowly loses independence, confidence, and joy. The other keeps moving forward, not faster, but stronger. The difference is not luck. It is not genetics alone. And it did not start at 70. The clues show up long before most people notice. To understand what really matters at 70, we have to go back. In early adulthood, most people build their identity around productivity. Work hours increase, sleep gets shorter, movement becomes optional, relationships become transactional. According to long-term American cohort studies, including the Framingham Heart Study, habits formed between ages 25 and 45 strongly predict physical and cognitive capacity decades later. The cause is simple. Repeated stress without recovery reshapes the nervous system. The effect is a body that learns to survive, not sustain. People who feel fine in their 30s often miss the early signals. That is the first hidden risk. Then come the changes that start quietly in the 40s. Muscle mass begins to decline by about 1% per year after age 40, according to data from the National Institute on Aging. Balance reactions slow. Recovery time increases. Brain processing speed dips slightly. None of this feels dramatic, so most people adapt instead of correcting. They sit more. They move less intensely. They socialize less spontaneously. They rely on routines that feel safe. This adaptation creates the next problem. The body becomes efficient at doing less. Now comes the shift after 70 that most people ignore. After 70, small deficits stop being invisible. Research from the American Geriatric Society shows that tiny losses in strength, mobility, or cognition suddenly have outsized consequences. A weaker leg is not just a weak leg, it is a fall risk. Slower recall is not just forgetfulness, it affects decision-making and confidence. This is where many people think life starts shrinking. But here is the twist most seniors never hear. At 70, success is no longer about adding more. It is about retaining specific capacities that protect everything else. This brings us to the breaking point. Doctors often see it when someone can no longer get up from the floor without help, or when they stop driving, or when social invitations quietly dry up because energy is unpredictable. But some people reach 70 and still do a few key things. These are not flashy, they are not discussed enough. And if you can still do them, you are not just doing okay, you are winning. Let's build the suspense before naming them. Studies from the CDC and U.S. Census Bureau show that only about 1/3 of Americans over 70 meet basic functional fitness benchmarks. Even fewer maintain strong social and cognitive engagement. That means the majority lose at least one of the pillars that support independence. So, what are the 5 things that quietly separate those who thrive from those who struggle? The first is this. If at 70 you can still get up from a chair without using your hands, you are winning. This sounds simple. It is not. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that the sit-to-stand test strongly predicts mortality, fall risk, and future disability. This single movement reflects leg strength, balance, and neurological coordination. The cause traces back decades. Regular lower body use earlier in life preserves muscle fibers that protect mobility later. The effect today is freedom. You can move through your environment without fear. The second thing is the ability to walk briskly for at least 10 minutes without stopping. According to American Heart Association data, walking speed is one of the strongest predictors of survival after 70. It reflects cardiovascular health, joint integrity, and brain-body coordination. Many people assume slowing down is inevitable. It is not entirely. Those who maintain movement habits earlier and adjusted intelligently later retain this capacity. The payoff is massive: better circulation, better mood, lower healthcare costs. The third thing is this: if you can still learn something new and remember it a week later, you are winning. This is not about intelligence, it is about cognitive flexibility. Research from the Rush Memory and Aging Project shows that engaging in new mental challenges reduces the risk of dementia, even when brain pathology exists. The brain does not need to be perfect, it needs to be used. The cause is lifelong curiosity or the decision to restart it. The effect is mental resilience. Now here is where things get uncomfortable. The fourth thing is the ability to set boundaries without guilt. After 70, emotional energy becomes precious. Studies in socio-emotional selectivity theory, led by psychologist Laura Carr-Stenson, show that older adults who prioritize emotionally meaningful relationships report higher well-being and lower stress. If you can say no, protect your time, and choose peace over obligation, you are winning at a level many never reach. The fifth thing ties it all together. If at 70 you still feel a sense of purpose that gets you out of bed, you are winning. Purpose does not have to be grand. According to data from the Health and Retirement Study, seniors with a strong sense of purpose live longer, recover faster from illness, and maintain independence longer. Purpose acts like glue. It keeps physical, mental, and social systems aligned. Now let's talk about the fallout when these things are lost. Loss of strength leads to falls, which are the leading cause of injury-related death in older Americans. Loss of mobility leads to isolation. Loss of cognitive engagement leads to faster decline. Loss of boundaries leads to resentment and burnout. Loss of purpose leads to depression. These losses affect health first, then money, then lifestyle. Medical costs rise. Assisted living becomes more likely. Choices shrink. And yet many seniors chase the wrong fixes. They focus on supplements instead of strength. They avoid discomfort instead of training balance. They stay busy instead of staying purposeful. They follow outdated advice that tells them to slow down rather than adapt smartly. These fixes fail because they address symptoms, not systems. So link this to today. If you are over 60, the goal is not to become younger. It is to protect these 5 capacities. Here are 3 direct actions you can apply today. First, train getting up and down. Practice chair stands daily. This one habit protects independence more than most exercises. Second, schedule purposeful walking. Walk with intent, not just steps. Aim for posture, pace, and awareness. Third, choose one new challenge, a skill, a class, a role. Something that makes your brain work and your identity expand. Here is the clear warning based on evidence. Once functional abilities decline past a certain point, recovery becomes exponentially harder after 70. Waiting too long costs more than starting imperfectly now. And here is the open thought to leave you with. What if aging well is not about avoiding loss, but about choosing which abilities you refuse to give up? If this made you rethink what winning at life really means, do like, leave a comment, and share this with someone who needs a different definition of success after 70. Subscribe for the next chapter, where we break down the one daily habit that quietly protects all 5 of these abilities at once.